Hello viewers, this is a video in which you can learn some 3D modeling and assembly techniques in FreeCAD. FreeCAD is a free program that works based on workbenches. Just as there are various built-in and external workbenches for 3D modeling, there are also workbenches for part assembly. What I'm showing you in this video is a way to assemble parts without using any assembly workbench. Just a built-in FreeCAD tool available from version 1.1 onward. Stay tuned, we are going to start by modeling the parts using the PartDesign sketcher, fasteners, and part workbenches. And then assembly the pieces of this 3D model using the draft workbench and FreeCAD Transform tool. Let's go ahead and see how to do that. First of all, in the start page of FreeCAD 1.1.0, the version, let's start by creating a new blank document. For that, click on Empty File option. Let's save the document. And next, let's add a PartDesign body object to the view. For that, click on the Create Body icon. Here we have the body object. Now we can start creating sketches and creating solids for the first part, this part here. We will start by designing this part 1 here. Now let's create a sketch, attach it to the XY plane. Just click on Create Sketch icon and now select the XY plane. Select Rectangle tool and create this first rectangle. And next edit this rectangle and now skip this tool. Select this vertical constraint and now this vertical constraint here, and next select this line and this line here and now hit delete. Now select these 2 points here in this way and apply a constant constraint, and the same thing here for these 2 points. Constant constraint. And now select the fillet tool and create a fillet here in these 2 lines, and the same thing here in these 2 lines. Now skip this tool and select this fillet and go to the dimension tool. Expand the tools and select constraint radius and set 10 mm for these arcs. Okay, next select these 2 lines here and place an equal constraint, and next select the constraint symmetric and make this point and this point symmetric to these vertical edges, and these 2 center points of these fillets symmetric to these vertical axes. Now select the dimension tool, zoom out here and click on this line. Set 60 mm for this line here, and for this point here and this point here set a horizontal distance of 85 mm. Okay, and now click on this vertical line, click off and set 7.5 mm. And now from this point to this point create a vertical distance of 110 mm. And this sketch is full constrained. Close this sketch, click on close button. Click off and press home in your keyboard, and let's create the first solid. Select the sketch and then click on the pad tool icon and set the length for 4 mm for this extrusion, and then hit OK to finish the operation. Okay, next let's create another sketch, attach it to the YZ plane. For that, click on the Create Sketch icon and select the YZ plane. Okay, zoom in here and switch to Decision View by pressing this icon, and next select the Cycle tool and create 2 cycles here. The first cycle with a diameter of 15 mm and this cycle with a diameter of 10 mm. And now use the constraint constant to constrain this cycle in this origin axis point. Now close the sketch, choose zoom in here and select this circular geometry, and next select the pad tool. Check these options, merge to plane, and here change to 6 mm the length, and then press OK. Next, go to this pad operation, expand the tree and select this sketch, make it visible, and make this operation invisible by pressing spacebar. Now select the cycle and click on the pocket tool, and now check merge to plane option and change the tab to frugal, and OK. Click on the Create Sketch icon and select the YZ plane and switch to Decision View to see the axis cross here. And next select the rectangle. No, it's better to select the center rectangle tool Expand the rectangle tools and select centered rectangle and check this option to run the corners, and now just click on the vertical axis and create this rectangle. Set 2 millimeters to the fillets of this rectangle. Okay, and next select the dimension tool. Click on this line and this line here, click off and set 20 millimeters. And now here from this line to the horizontal axis, let's create a distance of 20 millimeters. Let's hide all constraints and then click on this line here and let's say 20 millimeters. Zoom in here and it's okay. It's full constrained now. Close the sketch and next select the pocket tool. Change it up to foreground and set symmetry to plane. And okay, as you see, we have a small problem here with this CAD operation. We can fix this. What I have to do is to go to the pocket operation, expand the tree, double click on the sketch, and what you do here, we have to change the size of this line here. So double click, let's say 50 millimeters for example, and leave the sketch. Now as you can see, it's all okay. Now press home, go to the model. In the tree, select this body object, F2 to rename this, let's say part 1. Okay, and now let's disable this part 1 here. Double click, and next let's create another body object for the second part. This part here. Select the body object, press F2, and then set the name part 2. Let's hide this part here. To do that, select the body object, part 1. And hit spacebar. First of all, let's create a sketch attached to the XY plane for the first shape. Just click and create sketch icon and then select the XY plane. Let's select the center rectangle tool and the sketch geometry. Just click on this icon, create center rectangle, and now click on the vertical axis and now in this horizontal axis. And next select the dimension tool. Click on this line here, let's say 20 millimeters. And next let's click on this line here, click off and set 110 millimeters. Okay, zoom in here and close this sketch. Click off and press home and next select the path tool to create an extrusion of the sketch. Set 3 millimeters here and okay. Next let's create another sketch attached to the XY plane. For that click on the create sketch icon and select XY plane. Switch to the session view by pressing this icon and now zoom in here and click on this and select create rectangle and now here. And now check this option to run the corners and now create this rectangle. And the radius of these fillets here must be 10 millimeters. So set 10 here and it's okay. Skip this tool, zoom in here and select this vertical constraint and now this one here and delete. And now we can drag this point and this point here to create this. Okay, zoom in here and select constraint symmetric. Now select this point and the vertical axis, and now this other point and this one here and the vertical axis. We have 4 degrees of freedom as you can see now. Let's change to construction geometries. Create external projection geometry, this icon, and extract this edge here. Okay. Change to normal geometries and now select dimension tool. Click on this point here and now in the vertical axis and set length of and set a distance of 30 millimeters. The half of this distance here 60. And now go to this side here. Click on this point and now in the vertical axis click off 75 divided by 2 and we have this dimension. Click on this edge here and now in this line here create the vertical distance 22.5 millimeters minus 7.5 and we have 15 millimeters. And here the same thing, just click on this line here and now in this horizontal axis and set 15 millimeters. And we have the sketch full constrained. Now close the sketch and select path tool. Set 3 millimeters here and enter. And now what you do, change the draw style to wireframe, zoom in here, select this edge, now this edge, and control this edge here, and now this edge. And click on the fillet tool icon, set 5 here and enter. Change back to flat lines draw style, just click in here and select flat lines. Next, select this face here and create a sketch. What you're going to do here is to select the Center rectangle tool, run the corners and create this rectangle. Set fit here and 50 millimeters here and 5 millimeters for the radius. Okay, and now change to construction geometries and select create external jump tool and extract this edge here. Change back to normal geometry and select the dimension tool. Now click on this edge and now in this line here 15 millimeters. Okay, and the sketch is full constrained. Close this sketch and now select the pocket tool. Press OK. Click on the grid sketch icon and select YZ plane. Zoom in here and switch to the decision view. Select cycle tool and then sketch geometries and create two cycles. The first one with a diameter of 15 millimeters and the second cycle with a diameter of 10 millimeters. Now let's use the same technique. Let's select constraint constant, select the cycle and now this origin axis, and now close this sketch. Zoom in here and select this geometry and now select the pad tool icon and set symmetric plane here and set 20 millimeters. Enter. And now go to this pad operation, expand the tree, select these two objects and spacebar to make the sketch visible. Now select this geometry and pocket tool, set frugal here and check symmetric plane and OK. Okay, and now we need to mirror these operations here in this side here. To do that, it's very easy. We'll use the linear pattern tool. Just select the pad operation and hold the Ctrl key and select this pocket and now click on the linear pattern icon. Okay, what you have to do in this operation is to change this length here, this distance. We must change here to 110 millimeters, this distance. So just change here to 110 and then click off and OK. Double click to disable this, and if we select this part 1 here and hit spacebar, as you can see we have this. We have two parts here. Next, let's design this part here. To do that, first we need to add a new PartDesign body object. For that, click on this body icon. Let's rename this body object, press F2. Let's rename to part 3 and enter. And now let's select the part 1 and the part 2 and hit spacebar to hide it from the 3D view. Click on grid sketch icon and select the YZ plane. Select cycle tool, click on the vertical axis and set 15 millimeters for the diameter of this cycle. So in here, click on this center point and set 10 millimeters for this cycle. Okay, now select the constraint constant, select this cycle and now click on the origin axis and here we'll have this. Now let's hide this all dimensions here. Just click on this icon. Okay, next here let's select rectangle tool. Click on the origin axis and create this rectangle and now create this rectangle. And next select the polyline tool and create this geometry. Okay, like this. And now skip this tool and select this line here, this line here and delete. Okay, now drag this point to here and select these 2 points here and make them constant. And the same thing here for these 2 points and the same for these 2 points here. And now drag this point to here and select the 2 points here and then set and make them constant. Okay, zoom in here, drag this line to here. Okay, and now let's select parallel constraint and make these 2 lines here parallel. And let's select constraint perpendicular. Make this line and this line here perpendicular. Okay, now click on the dimension tool. Click on this line here. So set 4 millimeters here. And now this line and this line here set 4 millimeters. This line here and this one set the same distance, 4 millimeters. Okay, now click on this line and next in this horizontal line and set an angle of 4 degrees. And next select this line here, click off and set 12 millimeters. And this line here set 8 millimeters. As we can see, we have a small mistake here. Ctrl Z this. Skip this tool and drag this line to here. And next select the dimension tool again, click on this line here and set a distance of 8 millimeters. 1 degree of freedom, as you can see. Select this line and now click on the vertical axis and set a distance of 100 millimeters. Double click this icon to hide all constraints. And next, zoom in here, select these two geometries and change to construction geometries. Now close the sketch. Okay, press home here and select pad tool. So set 75 millimeters here and then press OK. Here we have this. Now go to this pad operation, expand the tree, select the sketch, Ctrl C, and now click in use regional solutions. And now let's pass the sketch in this document. Ctrl V and drag the sketch into this part 3 body object, spacebar to make it visible. Double click on the sketch and switch to the session view. What you're going to do here is to change this geometry to construction geometries and these two cycles to normal geometry. For that, select this entire geometry and click on this icon. And now close the sketch, select this geometry, and now click on pad tool. And what to do here, set symmetric plane and set 75 millimeters here and then OK. Okay, and now let's make this, and now expand the tree here, select these two objects, spacebar, and now select this geometry, and now click on the pocket tool and check symmetric plane, and now change here to foreground and OK. Here we have this, as you can see. Next here, let's select this edge and create a fillet here, 2 millimeters, and then OK. Okay, now let's create a sketch. Click in create sketch icon, select the XY plane. Okay, switch to the session view here. So let's start by selecting a rectangle tool with rounded corners. Just create this. Okay, and next select the polyline tool and create this geometry. Okay, like this. And now change to construction geometries and click on this icon, try this edge and also this edge here, and change to normal geometries, and next select rectangle tool and create this geometry. Okay, now let's select this tool here and make this line a horizontal line, this line here a vertical line, and this line a horizontal line. Select these 2 points here and apply a horizontal constraint. Okay, and the same thing here. Set horizontal constraint, and now select dimension tool. Click on this fillet and set 2 millimeters. Here we have this. Select this line and this line here and set 20 millimeters. Okay, and now select constraint symmetric. Now these two center points and this vertical axis, and here we have this. Next, select dimension tool. Click on this line here, and now in this endpoint. 27.5 millimeters. Click on this line here and set 30 millimeters. Select this line and now this line here and set 20 millimeters. Now select this line here, click off and set 15 millimeters. Now zoom in here, click on this edge and now click on this line here, 10 millimeters. And now this line here, set a distance of 35 millimeters and select constraint symmetric. Now select this endpoint and this one here and the vertical axis. Now skip this tool and drag this line to here. Select these 2 points and place a vertical constraint, and here we have this, and click on this line here, click off and set 10 millimeters. Now to full constraint this sketch, we can select this line here and set a length of 50 millimeters, for example, and zoom in here, click on this line here and set 24. And this sketch is full constrained, as you can see. Close the sketch and now select the pocket tool and change the type to foreground and symmetric plane and OK here. Now let's mirror this pocket. Select the pocket and now click on the mirror tool. As you can see, we have this. Now click OK here, press V+3 and now zoom in here, click on this edge and now go to fillet tool, change the radius to 5 millimeters and now click on select button, select this edge and select this edge and now OK. And now press V+T and now press V+7 to change to flat line stroke style. Let's disable this part 3 here and make these 2 parts visible. As you can see, we have this. Okay, now let's design the part for this one here. Let's select this all part objects and hit spacebar to hide it. And now add a new part and body object, select the body object and let's rename to part 4. Okay, like this. Click on create sketch icon and select axis plane here. Zoom out and zoom in here, select rectangle tool and then click on the origin axis and create this rectangle. And now click on this point here and create this rectangle. Select the dimension tool, zoom in here, click on this line here and set 2 millimeters. And now select this line here and the radius here will be 7.5 millimeters. Okay, and now just click on this one here, click off and set 59.5 millimeters. Okay, and next here, click on this line here, set 9.5 divided by 2 and we get 4.75 millimeters. Now close the sketch and select, click off here, press home and select the revolution tool, this tool here. Change the axis to x-axis. Okay, and now press OK. Zoom in here, select this edge and create a fillet of 0.5 millimeters and OK. Okay, here we have this. Now we have to create this threaded hole, as you can see, with this reference. To do that, it's very easy. We can use the hole tool of PartDesign workbench. Let's select this face here and then click on the hole tool. Let's add transparency to this model. Select the surface here and press V plus T. Change to front view and change to 15 millimeters. Click off. And now let's go to the profile. Just click here and select isometric regular profile. Change the size to is M6, as we can see. Change to M6, this reference. And now to see the thread, we have to check this option, threaded. And also this option here, model thread. And now refresh the document. As you can see, we have this. Press OK here. And this is the final shape of the part 4. Select the surface and press V plus T to remove the transparency, and this is the final model. Okay, double click on this part 4 object to disable it, and now let's create this part here. First, we need to create a new PartDesign body object. Click on create body icon. Let's hide this part 4, spacebar. And next, let's go to additive cylinder, expand this tree here and select additive cylinder tool. And zoom in here, select the YZ plane. Change the radius here to 7.5. Okay, and height to 2 millimeters and then press OK. And now what to do, select this face here and let's add a fillet, let's say 0.5 millimeters and enter. Okay, and now to create this thread here, we have to move to the Fasteners workbench. Click on workbench selector and select Fasteners workbench. Okay, what we're going to do here is to add a threaded rod. To do that, we can go to these tools here, threaded rod, expand the tools here and select this icon here and click on this icon here. Now let's make some changes on the parameters of this object. Select the threaded rod, go to data. Okay, the reference is correct here. What I have to do is to change the length to 15 millimeters. So just click here and set 15 and enter. Scroll down here and let's make the thread visible. Set through here and then refresh the document and we have this, as you can see. Now let's fix this threaded rod in this face here. To do that, let's select the threaded rod object here and then control and select this face here and select this edge here and now click in move fastener. Click here and we have this. Now we have to go to the part workbench to create a fusion of these two parts here. Change the workbench to part workbench and then select these two objects and now click in union tool, this icon. And we have this, and also we can rename this fusion object to part 4. to part 5. Okay, like this, and save the document. Okay, now let's have a look on how we can assemble these all parts using the transform tool of the FreeCAD 1.1.0 dev version. First, let's make these all parts visible. Select the part 1 and now shift select this part 4 and then hit spacebar, and here we have these all parts in the 3D view. Okay, first of all, let's connect the part 1 and the part 2. So select these 3 parts here and hit spacebar. Okay, go to the 3D view and select the part 2, right click on mouse and select transform tool. Let's drag this part 2 here, for example. Just click here and select custom, and now zoom in here, and what we'll do is to pick the center of the circular edge. Just click on this edge, and now scroll down here and go to utilities, click in move to other object button, and now zoom in here, and we can change the draw style here to wireframe to see these internal edges. Okay, let's select this edge and change back to normal geometry and change back to flat lines draw style. We can also rotate this model in the selected reference here. Let's change to right view and then change here to, let's say, okay, 105. I think it's okay. So I will drag this point to here. As you can see, I rotated the part. Okay, now I press OK here. Okay, now let's make the part 3 visible. Hit spacebar, and also let's try to connect the part 3 and the part 2. Okay, for that, select the part 3 first. Right click on mouse and go to transform. Let's drag this part to here. And now what I'm going to do is to try to get the center point of this edge here and connect the center point of this edge and the center point of this circular edge. Okay, let's do that. Zoom in here, go to the task panel, go to dragon mode, change to custom, and pick the center point of this edge here. Okay, and now in the task panel, scroll down to utilities, click and move to other object, and now zoom in here. Let's change to wireframe draw style, and let's try to pick the center of this edge. As you can see, it's not possible. So what you can do here is to use a technique. Okay, scroll up here and cancel this operation. Just press V+7. Okay, first of all, let's activate the PartDesign body object of this part here. Is part 2, double click. And now go to the model type. Okay, rotate the view, zoom in here and select this face, and now let's create a sketch on it. Okay, let's change to construction geometries, and now use this tool here to extract this edge here. As you can see, now we have the center point. Change to normal geometry and select cycle tool. Okay, and now click on the center point and create a cycle like this. Close the sketch, and now click off here. And now let's disable the part 2. Double click and select the part 3. Right click on mouse and select transform option. And now let's drag this part 2 here, for example, and change the mode to custom. And now zoom in here and let's pick the center point of this edge, and now scroll down in the task panel to utilities and click in move to other object, and now zoom out and zoom in here, and now select this cycle. As you can see, we have this, but in the wrong way. We can click on this button and it will be fixed. Now let's change to right view and let's rotate this 3D model. For that, first let's change the rotation increment to 15 degrees and drag this point. As you can see, I have this. Now I press home on the keyboard and I scroll up here and then I press OK. Now I will hide this sketch here. For that, I will select this geometry and spacebar. Okay, now let's make the part 4 visible. Hit spacebar. Okay, and select the part 4, right click, and I'll go to transform option and then drag these to here. Okay, now I want to connect this edge here and this edge. To do that, first I will set a custom reference point. For that, I will go to mod and change to custom reference, and then I will zoom in here and pick the center of this edge here, and then I will scroll down to delete and click in move to other object and rotate the model, and now zoom in here and I will pick the center of the circular edge. And I have these, as you can see. Now I press home on the keyboard and here I have the model. Next, I will scroll up and click OK to finish this. Okay, now I want to connect this part 5 in this edge here. To do that, it's very simple. First, I will make the part 5 visible, spacebar, and right click here and transform option. Now I drag the part to here. Okay, and next what I do, I change to custom reference, I rotate the view and I zoom in here and I pick the center point of the circular edge, and then I scroll down here and I click in move to other object. Now I press home, I zoom in here, and now I'll pick the center point of the circular edge. I click on this edge and here I have this. Scroll up and OK. Now what is missing for this 3D model is to create copies of these two parts here, the part 4 and part 5 in the side here. To do that, it's very simple. What I'm going to do is to create clones of these two objects. Okay, for that I prefer to use the clone tool of the draft workbench. So I will change the workbench to draft and I will make the grid invisible, and I will select the part 4 and hold Ctrl key part 5, and now I will click in this icon here. And now I have these two copies, and also I will add a part object to the tree view. For that I will click in this icon and select these two objects and drag it into this part object. Okay, now that I have these two objects inside this part 1 here, I can use the transform tool. Because if I select these two parts here and then right click, as you can see, I don't have the transform option here. So I will use the part object to move the two objects in the same time. I select the part object, right click, and now I have the transform tool. I click in here and let's say change the mode to custom, and now I zoom in here and I will pick the center of this circular edge. I have this. Now I press home here, and next what I do, I scroll down in the task panel and I click on the move to other object button. And now I pick the center of this circular edge and I click in here, and now I scroll up and then I click OK. If I select the part 2 and the part 3 and hit spacebar, as you can see I have these copies. Okay, now let's make all parts visible. I will select the part 1 and hit spacebar, and this is what I have in my document. So this is how we can use the transform tool to assemble parts in FreeCAD. If you found this video useful, please don't forget to hit like and share this video with your friends. If you want to support the content of this channel, you can do that. Just go to the description of this video and you'll find a link to the channel's Ko-Fi page. Thank you for watching this video. I hope to see you in the next video.